Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our weekly Greenroom Matters. I am very excited that you've joined us yet again today. And I want to say thank you to the people that we have brought on our set the past number of weeks and what we've been able to cover. We continue digging in, and we know that every program is tailored to help somebody. We have no idea who is watching. We have no idea what you're going through. And we know at the end of the day that God knows your situation, and God knows what's best for you. And we bring it to help you, not to condemn you, not to throw you like the trending saying now to the wire. We're not doing that. We are there to bring you to a place where you can function normally. And again, we know that when we talk about normal function, we are coming from different backgrounds with different hurts and different experiences. But at the end of the day, Jesus Christ came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So all of you, our viewers, are important, and we pray for you every day. We work so hard to reach you because you are important, not only to God, but to us as well. We love you. This is our weekly program, The Greenroom Matters. We have again an interesting subject to look at, or topic, and I have very interesting people to help me handle this matter. Today's focus is interracial marriage. Of course, we know that we live in a global world. The world has become small and has become just like one country. Of course, borders do exist. But at the end of the day, we are one. People in the States, people in UK, people in Asia, people in Africa, we are one. And actually, long time ago, it was almost impossible for you to really interact with people from different continents and so on. But with the coming of social media and also the flights, these airlines that are now numerous, we can easily move trips continent to continent and be able to interact. And as a result of that, then we are seeing increase in the number of races or races, different races coming together in holy matrimony. And we want to discuss that today because it is happening, and it also brings its own challenges. It brings a lot of things that we want to bring to the fore in our discussion here today. And so I am very happy today that I am joined by my friends. Of course, they are all members of our church here at Victory Bible Church in Kitwe. I want to introduce my couple on my right here. That is Chris and Amy. I don't know if you could pronounce the name Amy or Amy. Amy. All right. Amy and Chris Zimba. Very, very interesting people. And of course, I said Amy. Zambians will call you Amy. So you get that a lot. Yes. So Amy. So you just say yes to everything. Yes, all right. So I have Amy and Chris, who've been married, I think this is about now 6 years. Yes, got married 6 years in August. They got married in 2015. On my left, I have also an interesting couple. This is Owen and Andrea. Of course, Andrea or Andrea. It depends who's calling you. So we'll call you both. So guys, welcome to the program. Thank you very much for offering us this time. All right, so now, Chris, I just want to ask you a question, and just want to know how you met Amy.
We met 9 years ago.
Right.
She came as a missionary to Zambia, and she was serving with a school called Heaven of Hope, which is a school for vulnerable children. So she was looking for a church that she could be a part of, and that's the church that I used to go to. Yeah, so she actually told me she was walking down the road one day, then a lady walked up to her and invited her to for a youth meeting, and that was the first time that I met her. And at that point, I was actually dating someone else. She was dating someone else after a year of being here. And we were just really friends, and just got to know each other through youth meetings
Right.
and praise practice. Yeah, but there was a time that came that both our relationships ended,
Right.
and we were just friends, and would encourage each other in the Lord,
Right.
speak the word of God to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, encouraging one another for each other. Right.
Yeah, but after our relationships ended, we realized there was more
Okay.
to our relationship.
Right.
And we decided, actually, I decided I wanted to make a move over the way I was feeling. So
Right.
I asked her out, and that's how we began dating.
Okay. At what point did you feel that, or maybe before I come to that, let me go to Emmy. Emmy, what are some of the things that you had to consider in order to say yes to the approach that he made?
I think, from the beginning, it was like, I,
You loved
like
him.
you said, we had been friends for a
Right.
long time,
Yes.
and we were at this place where we had been really good friends. So it was kind of this awkward, like, I either want to move forward and know this is going to end in marriage, or we're not even going to try at all, because I didn't want to lose him as a friend. But,
Right.
through our conversations as friend, and I had, for a year, we had just basically been church mates. That was just Chris who led the worship team. And
Right,
that's how I introduced him to my parents the first time they came. It was no like, this might be your future son-in-law, like nothing, not even on the radar.
Okay.
So when it was to that point, for me, it was, I just wanted to know, like in my heart, God, like, is this really the man that you have for me? Are we going to end up in marriage? Because I didn't want to just date just for the
Yes.
sake of dating.
Right.
So that was for me. And, from what I knew about him up to that point, it was very much like he has the qualities of a man that I want to marry. I see that in him. And I think, for me, it just came to a matter of like, I just had that peace that like, basically when we started dating, we knew that we were going to get married. Like we knew in the back of our minds that's where it was heading.
Before you met him, were you, or had you already made up your mind that you were going to marry an African?
No. When I moved to Zambia in 2012, I originally just came for 1 year. I was like, I was 24 years old. Like, this had been a dream of mine since I was in high school, and I just kind of wanted to see what God had for me. I knew I wanted to be here for some period of time, but
Yes.
nowhere in my plans was it, I'm going to move to Zambia. I'm going to get married. I'm going to, stay here forever. Like that was not in my plan, and it was just kind of, I was just taking it one step at a time.
Great.
So it was definitely a huge surprise, but I was very grateful. I guess.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
Wonderful. Let me come to my friends this side. Owen, how did you meet your bride?
We met at our working place.
Right.
We were both working at Abba's hut, and I think that's where we met from.
Right.
And I don't know if you want to add anything
Okay.
to that.
How did you gather courage to ask her out, or to ask if you could date her? I don't know if you dated or you just went straight for it.
Okay, so the dating part for me, I would say, from the time, because I joined Abba's Hut, like in 2012, I think, if I can remember. That's when
She
I
was already
joined.
there at that time.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. Yeah, she was already there.
Okay.
So with me, I mean, like, we're just, like talking about, like how, dating is in Zambia. I would say, it is there, but it's not formal. Like, let's go for it.
Yes.
Let's get into, dating and stuff like that. You just, because dating is all about knowing each other.
Yes.
So as we were working together, from 2012, I was getting to know her, she's jovial, I liked her and all that and stuff like that. So over time, of course, I developed interests. And at some point, of course, I gained courage as well, to just ask her. So I think I asked, I told her, I have interest, and stuff like that. So she decided, that I think we can, like, talk things out and stuff like that, because, of course, you cannot just, say that and then move on. So we had to, like, really meet, and just agree, and stuff like that, on how that's gonna work and stuff like that. So that's how it happened. So I don't know if you have.
Andrea, I think I can come in on that one. Andrea, what are some of the things that you had to consider before you said yes? Was race one of the things that you really had to think through?
I would say, well, one of the main things we had to think through was that we worked together.
Right.
And so that wasn't permitted by the organization for coworkers to be in a relationship. And I think we both understood and supported that. But then this, we had
You
developed.
broke the
yeah.
rules.
So really, when he says we met to talk it out, I meant to say, no, this can't work. And he meant
Right.
to convince me that it could.
That's
so.
Owen, yes.
And he obviously won the conversation, so he won the argument. But so that was one thing we really had to consider, and I had to consider what would this mean for the ministry that I'm called to, what would it mean for his job, what would it mean for me long term, because, like Amy already shared, this is not my home country, so this is another step of commitment to Zambia, in some ways. So yeah, I wouldn't say that he was a different race necessarily was a big issue for me, but a different continent and different country was, because it's not my home country. So those were the things. I think similar to what they shared, we had already known each other, so I knew that his commitment to the Lord was serious. It wasn't like a show. I knew his heart for the same thing that I have a heart for children on the streets, and I just knew him well on a not romantic level, so I knew I liked the man that he was, and so that part I had already figured out.
Okay. And how easy was it for you to break the news to your parents about a man of a different race?
Yeah, well, once you tell your parents you're going to move across the world, pretty much nothing surprises them. So the fact that I had already come to Zambia, also I was, I think, the same age as Amy. I was around 24 when I moved here. They knew, I think from growing up, they were very passionate about spreading the gospel around the world. And so we would have missionaries in our homes and things like that. So people from other cultures were a part of my growing up, I would say.
Right.
Not necessarily interacting with them, but knowing about their just value and the gospel in relation to that. So I think for them, there was not really any issue.
Wow.
And they had
Wow.
visited before when
Yes.
Owen and I were not interested in each other and were just working together. So they knew who I was talking about.
Right.
And they loved Owen already just as a coworker
Okay.
of mine. They would ask me about him before any of this happened. So that helped too. It wasn't a stranger.
Everyone
who
loves
is this
Owen.
man? So all that made it a lot easier. I would say the most challenging part was breaking it to the organization, because there was a whole lot of things we had to work through with
work
them.
through, okay.
So and they're kind of my parents here,
Yes.
They feel responsible and have authority over me here, So that was the most challenging part, how to work that out. And I think every mixed couple has challenges
Yes,
in that
definitely,
area, even here. So we're just thankful that here we are still today with Abba's Heart, and that they worked with us and were willing to make a plan for us to move forward. And
Great.
yeah, we're married.
Great. Wow. Owen, on your part, how did your relatives receive the news that you were about to marry a white woman? Of course, taking into consideration that your dad is late and was late at the time that you were getting married, so that meant uncles had to come in and aunties and so on, who may not really process things the way your dad would, because your biological father will have that soft spot for you and will understand things probably because of that attachment. But then I want to believe that now when uncles and aunties came in, they had to process things maybe through cultural understanding and so on. How was it for you?
Yeah, interesting question. So, my relatives, I think, they welcomed it. They were happy for me. And it wasn't like the first time thing, happened in our family and stuff. It had happened before, way back. I had an uncle, a brother to my late dad, who married a Japanese. So
Okay.
yeah, so it had
Okay.
happened before. So
So the barrier had been broken already by
yeah,
that time.
so it wasn't like a surprise, So
Okay.
they were happy for me, they were excited and stuff like that. So they were interested, even to get know more about Andrea, where she's coming from and stuff like that and all that. And they told me, please, as things unfold and stuff like that, as you plan and stuff like that, keep us, updated and stuff like that. And let us see, how best we can help you in and stuff like that. And of course, others, some of my aunties would want to like really, okay, how are we going to like really
Yes.
do it and stuff like that
Yes.
and all that. But I think just as it is here in Zambia, if you go to Tongaland, you you dance to their tune,
Yes,
as a man.
definitely.
So I was dancing, to the American culture, on how to propose, marriage and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did
So
you
just I think few things from the maybe Zambian side, maybe I don't know. Just like really but I think for the most part I think it was more of American stuff like that. And it was an interesting thing because now I had to learn and know how Americans do it and stuff. So that was quite interesting and stuff. Yeah.
Chris, I didn't ask you this question. How was it on your part? Probably, I don't know if you answered that question. How was it on your part to break news to your family about a white girl that you had found? And how did they receive it?
Yeah, I think for me, everyone was very supportive. And due to the fact that we spent so much time together, I think everyone was already expecting it, right, when I introduced her.
Right.
Yeah, to everyone. So yeah, my family was very supportive. My dad was very supportive. And just the entire family was very supportive. And just like my brother from another mother, yeah, my dad's younger brother married a white woman from Belgium.
Oh.
Yeah, so it wasn't really as though.
So
it
your
was
guys,
happening for the first time.
it's in the blood.
You can say that. Yeah, so everyone was very supportive, and yeah, similar to my brother as well. There are just a couple of things that we had to work on, especially concerning the marriage itself.
Right.
There's things that we had to look at from the Zambian perspective, and also from an American perspective. And I can say my family was pretty open to fuse the two. Yeah, everyone was on board. We can do this the Zambian way, and we can do this the American way. Yeah.
All right. Emmy, you wanna say something on that? How was it for you?
I was just gonna say, yeah. I think for me, I was a little worried. As an American woman, like, what kind of expectations are they gonna have of me?
Yes.
Like, I'm not a Zambian woman. I might not understand, but I'm really grateful that Chris's family has accepted me with open arms. They're so kind. They're not in a bad way, but they're not very traditional, which has made a lot of this very
Right.
easy, and which has been grateful. But yeah, similar to what Andrea said, my family was very excited. Again, I think when they send their daughter at 24, off to another continent. I don't
Okay.
think it's a huge surprise that
Right.
oh, maybe she's gonna meet someone, and the chances are if you meet someone in Zambia, they're probably gonna be Zambian. So yeah, so it definitely wasn't a huge surprise or
Okay.
shock or anything like that. So I'm really
Beautiful.
grateful. So
Who received Lobola? Bridal price? Where did you take out the bridal price, and how was the process?
So we did actually try to pay the bride price.
But I just want you to know that in our culture, if you haven't paid that, you're not married yet. So just be careful how you answer that. Yes.
Yes, we tried to pay the bride price, but I think we had to respect my wife's side, cultural side, because in their culture they do not receive lobola. And we actually tried
What a
sitting
loss.
down
Yes.
and talking to my parents-in-law, but they were like, if you end up paying, it feels as if you are selling someone. So that's something they did not want to do. But we really tried.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I didn't pay the lobola.
Yes.
But I had to ask for her hand in marriage, and that's one of the most terrifying things I've ever had to do.
So explain how that was done.
Because he was on the other side of the world,
Yes.
I had to call him. But I was just as nervous
who?
as though my father-in-law.
Father-in-law, okay.
Yeah, I had to ask him. So I called him, and I remember where I was standing. I was standing under a guava tree.
Were you not kneeling when you were talking on the phone?
Almost. I was almost to the point of kneeling down. Yeah. And I mean, this is something I had to wake up the courage for. It was, I was preparing weeks in advance how I was going to say, but when the moment came,
You forgot all the lines of your script.
I forgot the lines that I was going to say. And MTN didn't make it better. They actually made it worse for me because the network was cut.
Oh my goodness.
So I remember dialing, I think, like 3 times, and the network would go off, so I'd have to call again. And every time it would get me to the point where, like, I was about to say to him, there's something I wanted to ask you, and the line would cut. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever had to do, but yeah, I did ask him, and I waited for his response. There was a pause in the atmosphere.
Okay.
You could feel a pin drop.
All
but
right,
Yeah,
right.
he said, we know what kind of a man you are, and we are happy to give you our daughter.
Oh, beautiful.
And I had a sense of relief.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Owen, where did you take your lobola? Bridal price. Because we haven't settled that matter. Chris, I'm coming. Where did you take your bridal price?
Excuse me. So I think just like my brothers.
All right. Pastor
I mean-
Chris is my crew working behind the scenes. I've got Flavia on the camera there. Guys, I want you to open the account because we have to settle that issue is not settled yet. So, how was it?
Yes. So I equally didn't pay because of their culture. You know, from America. Sorry, I want to sound like them, but now.
I don't know. Ale mama natulanda pampia because we are saying we want the money. So he's
So,
biting his lips.
So from the American point of view,
Yes.
you know, the wedding, you know, is mainly prepared, from the bride side. You know, they are the ones that prepares
Okay.
the wedding and stuff like that. So the only thing which a man supposed to do is, of course, I would say 3 things, if I'm not mistaken. I think she'll stand to correct me on that. So one, you can't propose before asking for a hand in marriage. From just like
Okay, like Chris
he did.
explained.
Yeah.
Okay.
So of course I was Zambian, so I was like, I wanted to propose, and she was like, no, you have to ask my parents.
Okay.
They have to accept, and receive you, and give, my hand,
Okay, just there. So at the moment that you are asking the parents, I want to assume that she has already spoken to them, she's prepared them, or it's you to break the news.
No, I don't think, she never prepared them. At this point, they know
They
nothing.
don't know anything.
Exactly. Yes.
They
So,
know that we're,
Okay,
we're
just-
interested.
yes.
They know we're interested in each other, that we're in a relationship, but
Yes.
the marriage part, they don't know. They might be expecting it's possible that he'll
Right.
be asking, but I didn't call and say he'll be calling to ask you that. No.
Okay, and when doing that, there's no, in our culture, we have what we call a shibukombe, a go-between. You don't just open your mouth to your in-laws and say, can I come and marry your daughter? So you just have to do it yourself, and
Exactly. You just have to do it yourself, and
it cuts costs at least because you don't have
Yes.
to pay a shibukombe
Yes.
go-between because
exactly. So the interesting thing is that if I was in America, I would have arranged a special way of bringing asking my in-laws for their daughter's hand in marriage. But except that I was in Zambia.
Yes.
It's only that I can't remember the network I had used, but it was also cutting as well. I remember I was in my one mansion, which is a single room. Have you ever seen a mansion
With single room, I know.
Yeah, so I called, and actually it's her mother, my mother-in-law, who answered. And she was loud and clear. Like, I mean, as she was talking to me as though, she's just like maybe next to me, it was so clear.
Right.
And, Dad also joined. I mean, my father-in-law, and, they were, they gladly, accepted me, and gave their daughter's hand in marriage. So it was so exciting. I mean, I was happy, And then the next thing was, of course now, they were now trying out to arrange, and plan for the wedding and stuff like that. So we were both kind of like, planning and stuff like that, how we wanted, to be and look and stuff and all that. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is what a man needs to do now is there is a part, after marriage, you go and eat out, families, from your side and also from your, wife's side. You call that, after the reception, you call that what? What do you call that? There is a way. You told me the way, but I've forgotten. If I remember, I mention.
Right.
So there is that part. A man needs to provide. Needs to arrange that and stuff. So that's the part that I had to arrange. It wasn't easy. Of course, no. You have to call for help. If you don't have that much, you have to call for help. Of course, from families and stuff like that, they would come in and help you and stuff and all that. Then the third part, you have to take your wife, for honeymoon. Yeah. So these are the three things, at least the basic main three things, a man needs to do.
Still,
so whether in Zambia, whether in America, whether in
you have to do that.
Yeah, that's what the man.
I'm glad you
do.
did
if
that.
If you're marrying an American, I don't know about marrying a Bemba, but
right. I'm glad you did that, but it doesn't really save you from paying me the bridal price. I need that money. Okay, interesting. Now, you guys, we are at the level that you are getting married. Andrea, what are some of the complications that you had to go through now, especially in preparation for the Zambian marriage or wedding?
Next on Greenroom Matters.
I don't know, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, for the most part, like I try to make sure like I'm saying like lamu lamu, like I talk to them like that and that sort of stuff, mangba pongosh and that sort of stuff.
Emmy, how stressful was your wedding in the Zambian culture?
Our goal has been to live Christian, Our marriage should be Christian. Not Zambian, not American,
all right,
but Christian.